Let's pick up Austerlitz again. The charge phase of the 11:20 turn. The French are reeling from the devastating attacks that have been crushing Saint-Hilary's division, Soult's Corps. So they are going to attempt to charge the 3rd Dragoon Division. The idea is to sweep around here and hopefully strike that battalion and that battalion, as well as potentially that artillery company, which means they would need to engage those Cossacks, and someone will sacrifice against the St. Petersburg Dragoons. So let's see if we can get things moving here. So we're going to attempt to charge this guy in an effort to strike those Cossacks. The only reason being, we want to engage them and keep them from disrupting the attacks as they come in over here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he gets home in the flank of that Cossack regiment. Cavalry on cavalry. We know the Cossacks will just run away, but that's okay. Now they're engaged in a charge. The next has this feller. We are not going to attack him. At this point, the St. Petersburg Dragoons could countercharge, but that would just sap them of their readiness, and they don't really need to charge because they know they can crush these guys. And they're not going to attack those guys. So he can engage the Dragoons and die a glorious death. Now, these Dragoons will make contact with that artillery, which causes a rout on contact. Which is good enough. Trying to pick a spot where I think I can retreat him effectively. Probably across that stream is going to be his best shot. Three, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I know it's going towards the enemy, but these guys don't actually have enough movement points to catch him. They will end up right there. I suppose we could roll for recall. Which is successful, so we'll go ahead and call that a recall and strike them. Oh no, those guys are in, well, they're in clear terrain, that's right. So if they attack them in clear terrain, skirmishers can retreat. And the French can finish that charge. Leaves us with 2 more regiments to take a run here. These fellows will move 1, 2. So they didn't get much of a running start, which means they won't have any charge benefit. But the battalion still must roll to stand. And he does not roll very effectively. He has a 26 and he rolled a 21. So he disorders. And now awaits melee in the coming phase. That leaves us with 1 last charge to make here. I think we'll give a shot at looping this guy around to hit that battalion. Now, it's reasonable to think that he has a line of sight all the way across that plain. He's kind of at a higher elevation. So if the Russian in line attempts to form square, he is successful. Now the French have not declared any attack yet, so they're welcome to continue on and see what they can do. I don't think they really have any targets. I think we'll roll for recall and see if we can hold him up. And he recalls, so we'll just call that an aborted charge. So that's going to conclude the charges here in the center. We're going to try one more charge in the north here, around Austerlitz. See, we have the grenadiers, and we have their dragoons. So the Russian will again attempt to form square. And he again rolls very well and forms square. I think I will try to recall that guy because I don't really want him to try to ride over that square. Really nowhere for him to go that's especially good. Too few increments to risk getting shot up as they ride over the square. And he does roll the recall. So I'll just stop that charge. So we'll move on to the French movement phases and see where that gets us in the fire combat.